Uke Nagashi means motion deflect or collapsing deflection. I learned this several years ago from a guy named Larry Reynoso of the Makoto Aikido Kyokai. Very, very good martial arts instructor, very powerful. He does the Uke Nagashi like no one I've ever seen before. The idea of Uke Nagashi is learning to control the line by how you deflect the person coming in. It's an arm deflection. Therefore, I'm deflecting the arm as the person comes towards me. Rather than get off line, I control the line and make him get off my line. Slowly, if he just puts his hands out, the idea behind this is that my hand will come up. I use the back of my forearm to touch. I don't use the edge of my forearm because I don't want to hurt that bone. From here, I bring my elbow up and change his angle of attack. If you can see here, his angle of attack is straight towards me. Boom. Let's do it this way. Angle of attack is straight towards me. Here, with Uke Nagashi, I redirect him as he goes by me. There's two ways to do Uke Nagashi. One was with Tenkan, and the other is with Irimi, here. I'm going to show Uke Nagashi Tenkan. As he comes at me, my hand comes out. I use the momentum to redirect him as I turn. Slow again. Here, here, here. This is where I end up. Side by side with him to control his angle of attack. I've avoided the attack. Now I control the situation and I can choose my option. Continuous motion. With Uke Nagashi Tenkan, it's very important that you relax your arm to let your hand be able to come over just like this. If your arm is tense, you're never going to get this. You have to stay relaxed to give yourself the flexibility to move around this person's arm. If he strikes overhead, just like this. Now, we're going to talk about a different style of Uke Nagashi, which is going to be a straight up deflection. So as he comes in from a shomen strike, I want to cut him off just like this. Again, you can see right where that strike goes. There's a nice atemi right on this technique. Slowly, as you can see from here, as that strike comes in, I move him off my line once more. Putting him in position for any number of techniques. Here, Irimi. Here, Kotegaeshi, Hijitoshi. Any number of techniques can be done with this. The idea is that you have your arm relaxed, but full of energy. It's not rigid and locked because you'll hurt yourself that way. Plus, if he strikes and my arm's rigid, he's going to knock me backwards. So instead, I move from my center. Stay relaxed. Have confidence in what you're doing. As that strike comes down, boom, right here, I don't want to have that. Here. One other thing I'll do to help with this, sometimes people don't really want to commit to their strike, and so they stop about right here. If he really wants to take my head off, strike to the side, please, so you don't kill me. That's how he strikes. So he'll have the follow-through. Just like that. So slowly, if you have the trouble of hanging up on someone's arm, I pass it right here. I'll pat their elbow down, just like that. One more time. Up and down. One more time. Just like this. Okay, I'm really big on arm deflections because my principles of self-defense are avoid the attack, control the situation, choose your options. Those are my three things I always talk about. And in this video series, you'll hear me talk about them all the time. So you'll probably get sick of it. Too bad, I'm going to talk about them anyway. Avoid, control, choose. Uke Nagashi is a great arm deflection to teach you how to keep someone from grabbing you, punching you, kicking you, headbutting you, whatever. Uke Nagashi is a collapsing deflection. It basically comes from kendo or sword work. From here, slowly, as the strike comes in from overhead, just like this, I bring my blade up to meet it. And you'll notice when I do so, I turn the blade over. This is the sharp edge. This is the flat edge. This is the katana, the killing edge. This is the kasana, the merciful edge or the flat edge. As that blade comes up, I turn my blade inverted like that so I don't damage the sharp edge of the blade. As he cuts down, it deflects my hands over. The force of his cut actually turns this deflection into a powerful cut, just like this. Time. So now moving into Uke Nagashi, where we are doing it with empty hands, as that arm comes down, that's why I tell people use the flat edge of your hand, not the sharp edge of your arm. Because if you do that, there's a chance he can break that bone or at least damage it, and then if you can't grip, if it goes to the ground or you need your grip strength for something, you're in trouble. So as that arm comes down now, I meet it with the flat edge of my arm. As he cuts down, that's the technique here. In Aikido, one of my main philosophies, like I told you, was avoid, control, and choose. But I like to always assume multiple attackers. If I can deal with one attacker, that's one thing. But I want to step it up and deal with multiple attackers. And here's where you really start to see the use of all the arm deflections. Uke Nagashi Tenkan, Uke Nagashi Irimi, Tigatana Tenkan, Tigatana Irimi. So now, as they both come towards me, like this, I can cut one of them out of the way, move, and as they come back, I can deflect. Here they come, here they come. You'll see me cutting the arms, Uke Nagashi here, Tenkan there, Tigatana here, Tigatana here, Tigatana, Uke Nagashi here. Always moving, always cutting them out of the way. Keep going. Here.
Increments. So I'm going to use the same side. If my partner's punching me on this side, which is his left side, my right side is going to be the matching side. So as he punches, this is going to come in. I'm going to make a straight line towards his face. I'm not bringing this outwards. I am simply bringing this straight in. Okay? So that's the first part. As I bring this straight in, now I'm going to rotate. As I rotate, my elbow is going to drop over the top. This allows me control for many different types of techniques. But most importantly, it's just allowing me to not get hit. So as I do this, he strikes, and I let this roll over the top. One more time, slow. I enter here. I rotate this. I'm also moving my body as my arm rotates. So I'm not doing this all staying square with him and trying to just work my arm. I'm actually allowing this to come in as there's resistance, and as he starts to push through that, I'm allowing that to come through. Last time. Opposite side. So I'm in the middle, I'm rotating over the top. You can see my body, how my body moves from this position. This is also an irimi. I'm moving slightly forward, meaning I'm not just doing this out here, he's got another punch coming, there's other things happening. If I merely retreat, then I got side kicks, all kinds of things. Ultimately, I want this to close distance. I want to end up close to my partner when I do Uke Nagashi. So this is a collapsing deflection. One last time on this side. Brings them right in.
You get really good. Okay, if you walk through this doing Aikido yoga all the time, you're never going to know what your true potential is if you have to use a sound straight. So, that being said, welcome to Steven Seagal's Thai Sabaki video. What we're first going to start off with is a first hand deflection. It's most attacks in the randori. And most randoris aren't striking attacks, they're more of a grabbing, shoving type of attack. So what we use in our randori is a real katadori, which is a double shoulder grab, double shoulder shove, or a mune, or kata, but mune. Okay, most people are going to push you to the center of your chest rather than your shoulder. A mune dori, or a mune katadori, which is a grab or a shove. Okay? First technique I'm going to show is sotogiri, which is an outside cut. Now, to get into a little bit of description of that, this technique cannot be done with this lifeless arm. You have to have your teikatana, which is your hand blade. This has to be firm. You have to be able to have ki energy from this. Has to be precise. You have to be able to cut. It's wrist on wrist. That's the application, how it's applied. You're capturing his wrist as he's going to shove you. Okay? If you miss the wrist and you go to the elbow or back of the tricep, chances are you're probably going to get clipped in the face on this. And this is what I'm going to show. Hey, onegaishimasu. So, as Chris goes to do a mune dori, mune shove, if I'm late on this and he follows through, this can go right up to my face and capture my face. Now I'm going to wind up getting hit. I still might be able to get the deflection off, but it's going to be really sloppy. If I'm too soon, he's going to end up shoving my shoulder or bumping into me. So you have to be careful that you don't turn your back on this and get shoved. So it's proper distance, balance, and timing. Okay? The attacker has to have proper distance, balance, and timing as well. Remember, this is Tenshin Aikido. I'm not talking about street application of this. This is an Aikido application of this. So when you attack, this has to be firm, but you have to be able to be mobile with your kemi. Okay? Not a robot, you know, Frankenstein shit. I see this all the time in randoris and whatnot. This has to be a firm attack. So as he goes to attack him slowly, you want to be able to capture this movement. Okay? The same token, you want to be able to deflect and with the opposite hand cover your face. For the sake of fail-safe purposes, if this doesn't happen here, he can now punch me in my face. Why would I want my hand down at that point? I'm not going to want to see what that feels like. So if I miss this, boom, and I turn and he's able to punch, he's going to end up hitting my hand. I'm not giving him a solid target to actually make connection on. So as he attacks, you want to be able to cut through and move fast. Okay? Again. So as that happens, cut. Okay? Cut. So, one more time. This happens here. You want to be able to cut this. Then from there, as you do this, it's not pushing the arm. It's not pushing the arm down. You're keeping this on the same plane as you move. Okay? You're deflecting this movement. So this attacker, your uke, should have firm intent behind his attack. The minute that I touch him, it's not about trying to push him away. Okay? So as he has this, it's not doing this, because he's going to keep coming, and then what we're going to do is we're going to collide shoulders together, and there's no musubi. There's no harmony. There's no blending with the technique. So you want this movement to blend with the technique as you move. You're blending as you move. Blend as you move. Blend. Okay? Blend. Blend. Oh, see, that one was good. A little stronger. A little stronger. Cut. Okay? That's sotogiri. From a randori standpoint, I'm going to show you how it's cut down in that video. But that's the basic application of it. The next hand deflection that we're going to move to is called suriage. Now, one thing I forgot to say was, all these hand deflections are based off of kenjutsu. Kenjutsu is practical application of sword technique. Okay? For some of you that don't know, Aikido, Judo, Karate, which originally was called Karate-Do, Nimpo, anything that usually ends with Do means way of harmony, so on and so forth, okay? Might not be the right way, might not be the wrong way. It's the way that you were taught, or it was your way. Anything ends with jitsu, kenjutsu, iai-jitsu, ninjutsu, right, Matt? Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so on and so forth. Jiu-jitsu means practical application. Fighting style, Budo, real Budo. That's what those terms mean. Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, where Aikido originally came from. The next application is suriage movement. So from a shomanuchi cut to the top of the head, right side please. From a Shomenuchi cut, the deflection comes through. A little bit more powerful. A little more powerful. You want to get this deflection. You don't want to get the deflection to where it's here and your center is being compromised. You want to be able to sit there and have this deflection. Okay, one more. And then you have this right here on this. Basically, you're cutting through the center, where now you can move, you can throw. Okay? The attack too has to be honest. Your Shomenuchi strike can't be here and cutting all the way down. Shomenuchi strike means cut to the top of the head. So when you cut, you're right there. And I'm not saying freeze frame, but you have intent with that. Okay? Now from a randori standpoint, and we're talking about randori, I'll go back into a demonstration of Suyage in a second. Off of the Shomenuchi cut. From a randori standpoint, now we're talking real kata or munedori, munekata, dori. This shove with Suyage, you do one of these. You have to come up from underneath. Okay? At that point, you want to be able to move. Okay? This actual application of this. Actual application. So you can move in all different types of technique, whatever at that point. Okay? This application is used if you get in that point where you're kind of getting flooded with ukes coming at you. You want to be able to deflect. So if he was coming at me with two hands, you're going to want to be able to deflect. Then you can move into sotogi if you had to. So these techniques are interchangeable with one another. You go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. You can do a whole randori, which is Tai Sabaki randori, which we did when I taught Aikido on a regular basis. We used that platform as a training platform where we did all of the hand deflections with no throws in a randori. Excuse me. And we actually sectioned off mats where we had students line up around the mats. And it was kind of like monkey in the middle. You had 3 ukes in a very small space of mats, and you would practice hand deflections the whole entire time. You'd sit there and do this. You'd be moving in this small section. That allows you to be able to intertwine yourself within the randori of a 2-man, 3-man randori. Okay? If you use the whole entire space of the dojo, it becomes a problem because A, you start getting out of breath, your students are chasing you down. There's a lot of spaces being used. You want to use this in the smallest space that you possibly can within reason. The smaller, the more advanced you get at doing this, the smaller the amount of space you're able to perform randori in, the better. Because out there in the real world using this, yeah, you're going to have wide open spaces, but what if you're caught in a situation where you don't have a lot of space to move? You want to be able to know how to negotiate your space, negotiate the people that are attacking within a small amount of space. But that's at a more heightened, advanced level of randori. But within the practice of learning the hand deflections and the techniques and so on, and then seeing the randori video, you'll see where I'm coming from on that. And then this is a learning thing for you guys, to where you can take this and you can practice this on your own, and you can evolve your training to that point where you can use that small space within your dojo to do this. Okay, so the Suriage movement again. So slowly, you want to be able to deflect with this. Now remember, don't turn too soon because then you end up hitting the shoulder. Okay, so you want this movement to where you actually turn and your hip turns into this, and then you turn your hand out. Okay, remember, this movement, Teigatama, has to move. Okay, you just can't do this and then try to move with this and stand straight up like some Aikido people do. They don't bend their knees and they just stand still. They're like, oh, okay, doesn't work. Got to bend your knees, come down to his level so where you move this. You're moving. You're sotogi, right? Uke Nagashi, Suyage, and you move. It's fast. It's explosive. It's supposed to be. Okay? Somebody comes and shoves you fast, wham! They get you. Your hand movement's slow. You're gonna get caught. Okay? RAM stands for rapid arm movement. That's exactly what gets applied here within the Tai Sabaki training. Your hands have to be quick, very quick. If you look at Steven Skull Sensei, for example, you look at Path Beyond Thought, documentary that was made of him back in 1999. His hand movement is fast, lightning fast. For a 6'4" guy, his hands are extremely quick. Train yourself to be that way. Why not? It's just going to benefit you in the long run, where you're going to be able to get these deflections so much faster. Okay, but it also incorporates, remember, distance, balance, and timing. Okay? If you're sloppy and you're all over the place, your hand deflections aren't going to matter. Okay? Now this video of Tai Sabaki is for everybody. Traditional Aikido people as well. Okay? Your senseis aren't obviously going to show you this stuff because they don't know it. And for the ones that claim that their senseis do know it, I call bullshit, because if they did, they would understand the principles behind it, they would understand the necessity to learn it, and they would understand the application on how to apply it. And the only people that I see doing this are my people, my Tenshin Aikido family. Those are the only people that I see doing it, okay? I don't see anybody else in traditional Aikido doing this. So this is my gift to you, okay? I'm giving this to you to help you further your knowledge, educate you on how to not get punched, grabbed, or kicked to the, or taken to the ground. This will help you in the long run. If you don't like anything else I'm doing or like anything else I'm saying, hey, great. Don't watch my videos because you don't want to learn anything. Don't watch my videos because you hate me. Watch my videos because you're going to learn something. Okay? I will teach every single one of you something that you don't know. Hence, Tai Sabaki. How many people do this in their dojo? If you do Tai Sabaki in your dojo, I know you're not doing it like this. I know you're not. So, Suriage one more time is this application of deflecting this. Remember, this is a sword cut, so you move. Okay? Set up, boom, you're moving. Boom, you're moving. Okay? See how I'm blending? See how my Uke is blending with this? Okay? One more time, right side. You're moving. Okay? You're moving. This can turn into a lot of other stuff from here to where you can get this into Nikyo technique. Yubi-ori. Okay? Grabbing this into an elbow lock, Ichigarame. Whatever. You can do this into, here into Nikyo, Sankyo. Mess up, sorry guys. So from here, moving into Nikyo, reversing out of this into Kotagaishi, throwing. Okay? There's a lot you can do with this. So, one more attack, one more series of attacks from Shogunuchi. This deflection. Deflection. Now when you see how this deflection is done, okay, the symbols of Aikido has 3 symbols. We all know this. This is universal. Triangle, circle, square. The triangle represents coming offline in hand deflections. Okay? If you do your hand deflection on Suriage, where it's this, you're going to end up getting hit. You're going to get crushed. So, just stand over there for a second so the camera view sees this. Move that way so you get the camera view of this. Right side. So, if it's straight in, he's going to crush right through and take my center. Okay? Right? So right from here, he's going to crush in on me. Can't be afraid to take this hit. Create the triangle. That's when you see a lot of us sit there and do this. We're creating a triangle right here with our hands. Kind of like item sights on a gun. Okay? He comes and attacks with that. You want to be able to get this hand deflection. Get this hand deflection. And then your hand should be right at his forehead. Okay? One more time. Right? So boom. You have that. Okay? And then this can turn, right side, this can turn into technique at this point. and you can throw. This also can turn into Uke Nagashi slow. From here into Uke Nagashi. Okay, the hand deflection. Okay, next side please. From here, deflection. Uke Nagashi. One more. That's how the Tsuriyage would work in relation to Uke Nagashi. You have to be able to get the hand deflection, right, to be able to do this. One more. So here, then this comes right in. What I was taught originally is that this movement happens here, and then the hand somehow crosses in front of the face. When I watch the Go Sensei do it, I don't exactly see it that way. It's more along the lines of here, then the throw happens. Your hand going across the person's face, I don't, I'm a little worried about that. So that was Tsuriyage. The next deflection we're going to do is what I call Kiriage, which is a diagonal sword cut from down to up. You're going from the ground up. The way how we do this is that we actually have nicknamed this the bitch slap. Because when it's done on a shoulder attack slow, or a mune attack, you're slapping the hand. You want to make sure that you slap the hand and you hit your shoulder. Every time you get this deflection, you should feel this boom, boom, hitting your shoulder every single time. Every single time you should have that. You have to be fast on this. If you're not, you're going to get clipped. Like, so from here, see? Wasn't fast enough. Again. See, I have that. You want to be able to get this deflection to where you have this. Notice how he lost his balance? That's the point behind it. So slow. This deflection slaps. Keeps going. Then you can actually move this into eating whatever. Or anything for that matter. From here, okay. So again, that comes in. You want this deflection. Remember, this is similar to Shoutout, but this is a deflection. Okay? You want to make sure that you don't get clipped on this, you deflect. So Kiriage movement, deflection. From here you can throw. Move into other techniques. Okay? So once again, we worked on slowly. Shoutout, same side. Uke Nagashi, Tsuriyage movement. Tsuriyage movement. Now we're going to move into Uke Nagashi. Uke Nagashi is the sword deflection that all Aikido people know. With the sword deflection, you're going to turn your sword up. The way how you defend with the sword on this is you're going to use the back side of the sword. You're not going to use the blade, the kasana. So you're going to use that. So with this type of attack, slowly, Yokomuchi. Okay, as he does this, you're going to blend with this movement. Okay, so you're going to come up from underneath and you're going to blend. You're going to collapse. And you're going to move through to where then you can capture. Okay, so this movement is here, circle, capture. Okay, capture. So the movement is that. If you do this here, you don't collapse, you don't bring your elbow up enough, this collapses and the uke hits you. Okay, this strike. Okay, don't have your hand like this when you're doing Yokomuchi. You want more of this kind of cutting hand. You're using the teikatana, bent wrist as you're cutting. So as that happens, you cut. Side of the head, this cut. It's not pushing through either. I've seen this a lot. Don't push through. Cut. Again, cut. So you want this deflection back. Cut. And there you have technique. Okay? Cut. So your Uke Nagashi movement is that. So you want this to blend. So slow. As this connects, you're going to start rotating. The elbow has to be higher than your head to where then you can move this offline and capture. From there, you can move into Kotagaishi, Naroskyage, whatever. Okay? Vito's Yokomen again. You can move straight into this with Naroskyage and throw. Okay? But initially, your Uke Nagashi off the Yokomuchi attack. Okay? Uke Nagashi. Uke Nagashi. Okay? Off of grabbing in the randori, this is where it gets cut down. The Uke Nagashi movement's going to be low. So this applies, this works when your uke is too close to you and you can't get off a soto-gi. The kiriage move, you can probably get that off pretty quick if you're really close. The Uke Nagashi movement, you're going to want to use this if your ukes are too close to you, okay? Where you can move. Where then you can suriyage, soto-gi, kiriage, Uke Nagashi, Uke Nagashi, Uke Nagashi, right? Where then you can do whatever at that point. So, that's it for our hand deflections. We're over our 4 hand deflections that we use encompassing the randori. The next video will be on 2 of the nage waza techniques that's used in the randori. So, thanks for watching. Today's video is basically going to be on the 2, like I said, the 2 nage waza throws that are in the randori, where there's 4 that we use. But I'm going to demonstrate those 2, go into a little bit of an explanation of that, and we'll call it a day at that point, move on to the next video. So with that being said, my Uke Frank, hi, onegaishimasu. Like I talked about how we do randori, the attack that's usually done with us is shoulder grab or mune dori, so as he comes in, it's strong. Okay? It's not, you know, flimsy where you start doing this and the hands start going over the place. There has to be intent behind the attack. On top of it, it can't be a zombie-like attack. It can't be a Frankenstein, like, you know, so you're doing this. That's not effective. On top of that, when people do that type of technique, you have fingers easy, and you can use Yubidori within randori as well to submit your opponents. But in this particular exercise of randori, this type of training in randori, you don't want to attack like that. So your attack is not already telegraphed. You start to attack and then your hands go out to grab or shove. In this case, because this is a training video for people that want to learn how to use this type of technique in their randori or train in this type of randori, the attack is going to have intent, but the intent isn't going to be to grab. It's to give an honest attack to where then you can learn how to throw by using these techniques. So the first one we're going to do is kokyu nage. So as he comes and grabs, the idea behind this is that you want to cut the hand into your center. So when you cut down and you cut up, the hand that goes up, I see this done a lot in training where people push the arm over the head, becomes very ineffective at that point. The idea is to cut through their hasuji, their angle to where you throw. Okay? Their center angle is this. A strong stance, please. Okay, I haven't done this yet, so I'm going to go into detail about this. This is strong. Strong frame. This is real strong. He can resist against this pretty easy. You're leaning a little bit too much. Wider stance, please. No, front leg in front. So strong stance, strong stance. He's strong there, right? So if I come up behind him, he's strong this way, straighten up. He's strong this way too, okay? Here's the hasuji. You're cutting through the angle of this. It's very easily done on both sides. Okay? As I push in his chest, he goes back on his heels. As I push on his back, he goes on the balls of his feet. So when this technique is actually being done, okay, you're cutting through this. And then the elbow goes across his hasuji and the throw. Okay? Goes across the okay? And this can be done in mote or ura. Mote is to the front, mote to the front, ura to the rear. Okay? So, like I said, as the technique comes in, you want to cut this. Proper spine alignment is important as well. If you're focusing on this and you're bent over, you're struggling to do this, it becomes very difficult to do. This is one of those Aikido techniques that comes across very effortlessly when it's done right. And obviously the inner workings is what makes it look effortless. If you know how to cut the angle, you know how to cut through the hasuji of uke, disrupt their balance, you become successful. You could also do this to where you're actually tripping them as you throw. So they can't take a step or make sweep. Okay, a little slow. So from here, you can step right into here and apply a leg sweep, throw this. In a randori setting, what you have to watch out for is you have 3 attackers in randori. Some dojos, some organizations have 4. Depends when you start getting up there and down ranking, when you test for like a 3rd or a 4th dan. You might have 5 people that are attacking, 5 ukes. You're not going to be doing a beatdown randori in that. Most Aikido organizations, especially the traditional ones, don't do a beatdown randori. Most of the Shihan just look for the movement, seeing that you're controlling the room, controlling your attackers. With that being said, we kind of step it up a little bit of a notch and go the whole 10 yards with this and pound on the nage. It's kind of like almost like an initiation when you test for your Shoutout and you do randori, you take your kemen for the guy that's testing. Your goal is to really beat the shit out of that guy, in all honesty. When that guy's done with his randori, his gi's all over the place, his hakum is barely on. It's pretty brutal. I mean, I've seen guys with busted lips, bloody noses, gis are completely gone. It is what it is. So, again, that's Kokyunage. Sumiyotoshi is the second one. Sumiyotoshi means corner drop. So from a katate dori application, you're going to corner drop, but you're going to stretch them out. You're going to cut on the elbow, and you're going to push down. So if you think the 4 corners of a square, as you do this, I'm going to be hitting that corner as I throw. This one, as I throw. Now, a multi-version of this would be this 10-con version, then going, and this is not applicable in a randori setting. No one's going to be holding onto your wrist when you do this. Same thing, it's going to be done from shoulder shove, double shoulder shove, mune dori, rokata dori, along the lines of that. So, as it comes into attack, you're going to advance forward on this. One more time, please. Okay, one more. You can almost do this one-handed. This comes in where you throw, and you can do this ura version as well. Okay, that's Sumiyotoshi. Don't really need to go into a lot of detail about that. Pretty much, it is what it is. I'm going to show you 5-10 second version of hand deflections with the 2 throwing techniques that we just showed. So from Rokata, so we're just going to walk through this. So slow. Solto-gi, Uke Nagashi, Kokyunage, Sumiyotoshi, Kokyunage, Uke Nagashi, Kokyage, Sumiyotoshi, Kokyunage, Sumiyotoshi. A little winded, huh? So, as you can see, it takes a lot out of your uke when they attack you and you're throwing around for 5-10 minutes apiece. But this video is really geared towards the people that are out there that want to learn how to do Seagal Sensei's form of Iri Minage. So, with that being said, Chris, hi, onegaishimasu. So, the first technique that we're doing is a yoka minuchi, which is a strike to the side of the head. So, as Chris does that, this is where you're going to incorporate your Tai Sabaki. So, if you watched the Tai Sabaki video earlier, it's one of the other videos that I have on this channel. This deflection is an Uke Nagashi Suriage deflection. So Uke Nagashi, okay, don't push, strike. the striking aspect of this. You want to be able to let this break. So as this happens, this comes up. Okay? So you transition from here, as it's pushed through, this hand comes up, replaces this, and then as the Uke Nagashi comes in, you want to think, I was taught this a long time ago, think of a salt shaker. Okay, like you're emptying a salt shaker or pouring salt onto something. So when this happens, this technique, from here, you push the koshida as this hand comes right across the neck and drops the person down. Okay. It's very important that you push his hips through. Now granted, the power of this comes through this way. This is going to happen naturally when he carries himself through from attack that's intended. Okay, if it's just this, you strike and then you stop, that's, it can work, but the outcome of it's probably not going to be what the Uke wants, because it's gonna hurt. In reality of this, who cares what happens to somebody on the street when you do a Uke Nagashi? Okay, you have to use this for obviously self-defense purposes. It's really about taking a person's center and smashing them in the ground. It's what it's really all about. So with that being said, again, as the strike comes in, remember, knife hand strike. Now you can simulate this if somebody has a stick or a bottle, even a haymaker type of punch. I'm not going to get into that because it's going to have to go further into detail. We're going to have to slow things down quite a bit in order for you guys to be able to see the hand deflections, because they're rather quick when it's done from that particular type of attack. So as this attack happens, it's this block, this deflection, capture, throw. The koshida, pushing this is the koshida. What the hell? Still recording? Good. Fucking bugs. That's Chicago for you. Anyways, Dom's gonna laugh his balls off when he sees this. I'm not gonna edit this, by the way. Fuck it. So as the opening comes, the Uke Nagashi deflection, the Tsuriyage deflection. So this has to happen quick. Your hand deflection, secondary hand deflection. Pushing the koshida, which is the back of a hakama. Pushing the hips forward to throw is what makes the technique effective. If the person has a solid stance as you go to strike, you're not going to be able to get this. So you want to be able to draw them in. So if this focus is just here, you're not going to be able to do this. Okay? You have to be able to do this way, then come to the throw. So your hand transition has to be quick. Uke purposes, the feet come together. So when you go to attack, this way, the feet actually point down. The feet come together for ukemi purposes, okay? Because if you're here, that throw is gonna hurt a lot when you get racked right across the neck with the forearm. So you wanna bring your feet together and be able to absorb the fall to go down. So it's the same thing that Chris needs to do when that happens. He attacks, the feet need to come together because this happens fast, okay? So Yoka Manuchi, Uke Nagashi, here. Throw. Okay? So again, one more time. The second technique is switch. It's katate dori, wrist grab. Simplest form of attack is katate dori, this wrist grab. Very impractical in the real world, but it's a common everyday occurrence in every Aikido dojo throughout the whole entire world. Katate dori, kosa dori, morote dori, ryote dori techniques, they're used constantly in day-to-day practice. And it's great training, absolutely. This particular technique, instead of doing this, coming up from underneath, and trying to grab that, and then you tenkan and you throw, I don't know how well that would work, okay, personally in the real world. You're not going to get somebody that's compliant. Remember, you want to smash them. Okay, you want to take them out as fast as humanly possible. The ukemi that's used for this is basically to save the uke from serious injury. Okay, if it was done where Chris didn't know how to take that ukemi or wasn't taking that ukemi, he's going to wake up the next day feeling like he has strep throat, because he's going to take 200 pounds of power going right across his neck. And that, the next day doesn't feel good. So the idea behind that is to absorb and take the ukemi so he can get back up and practice it again. This particular grab, you want to cut. Don't allow the uke to grab you first. Okay, so this has to cut. Cut. So it's almost like a magic trick. Pull, cut. As that happens, this hand comes behind, hits the koshida. This hand comes right up into the uke and straight down. Okay? So just showing the hand cut. Cut. My hand's already behind here. So quickly, cut. Cut. It's right there. You see this, follow. Nick. See my hand? It's right on his lower back. That's where you want to be. So when this happens again, cut, hand is right there. See where I'm at? See how his feet are together? Now as I step through, stay right there. As I step through, he has no other choice but to fall. Because the power that comes down over him, basically it's a tidal wave crashing. That's kind of like the idea. Okay? So again, cut, move in, there's the throw. Okay? Now it's not this. It's not this. And a lot of people do that shit. This is straight in. I'm already there before he has a chance to recover, before he has a chance to counter. My hand is already in place for the throw. Watch again. It's already there. Again. It's already there. I'm already moving through him. He's like a puff of smoke. Okay? So once the attack happens, wham, boom, there it is. It's that quick. There's no hesitation with this. One more. Okay? So again, cut, move. Right? Cut, move. Right? You go. Last one from this side. That is Katate Dori, Iri Minage. The last one is Munetsuki. Munetsuki is a punch. Mune Dori, which is a grab, or you can say Mune Dori shove. So this is shove. This is very similar to the Katate Dori where you cut. Katate Dori, where you cut down and you move in. This one incorporates the Kiriage, okay? AKA the bitch slap. The Kiriage hand flexion is this. Okay, if you didn't see that good enough, slow. Slap, Suriage. So it's two hand deflections in one. Just like the Yokomen, Uke Nagashi, Suriage, Iri Minage, Katate Dori, downward Suriage. You're avoiding being grabbed, remember? Don't get punched, grabbed, kicked, or taken to the ground. That is like our four main core principles of Tenshin Aikido. So the Mune Dori, slow. This Kiriage movement, as that happens, this hand is already moving. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's one motion, so it's one. So I'm already there. The technique already happens. Okay? So if you come around, Nick, walk around. If you come around on this, you can see how this works. Boom, I'm right there. I'm already in line with the throw. Right? I'm already in line. It's very similar to Katate Dori. Here, I'm already in line. Mune Dori, already in line. It's a faster application because of the intent behind the attack. Okay? So Mune Dori, I'm already there. Okay? Mune Dori, right side. I'm already there. Mune Dori, I'm already there. It's about distance, balance, and timing. I'm already here. Then I can move in and I can throw. Okay? If I'm late, I get shoved. Notice how in the Tai Sabaki video I was showing this, where I was slapping the shoulder. The timing aspect, right? See, there it is. Boom. We'll destroy it. Okay, one more. Okay. Let me throw up. Right. One more. The hesitation. That's Mune Dori, Iriminage. Now, you have Kosadori Iriminage, you have Kauski Iriminage, Shomanuchi Iriminage. There's combination of techniques where you can start off doing Kosadori into Nikyo, turn it out into a Iriminage. Chris, can you show that real quick? Just to walk through this Kosadori Nikyo. So Kosadori Nikyo, Nikyo, boom, cut, Iriminage. Okay? Again, Kosadori Nikyo, cut, Iriminage. One more time. So, Nikyo, Iriminage. Kauski, slow. From here, this is dangerous because I don't like the way how this one works. This is application of this. So I actually use the Kiriage application of that into the flow. Okay, I incorporate that in. Where you have the punch, you have that deflection. Obviously that punch is quick, so you're gonna have to move fast. Okay? Then you have variations of kick, punch, Ryokatadori, Ryotedori, techniques from behind, Ishidowaza techniques. The list goes on and on and on. Okay? Those are the three that I was going to show you tonight. Yokomunuchi Iriminage, Katatedori Iriminage, Munedori Iriminage. So, that pretty much sums it up with our video. I'm Lenny Sly, Combative Concepts. The technique that we did with the uniform on was a 1-2 punch. So, for the people out there that made the comment about just single hand punch, just throw it out there. Just throw the punch out. He throws the punch out. This was the deflection that we did in the other video. So, once again, Frank, so from here, this was the deflection. Hand was retracting. Maybe it was the way how the camera was angled or the way how it was shot that you didn't see this, okay? But what didn't happen was the punch was not out there and stayed out there, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there doing all this shit to it. That's not what it was. So one more time, if you guys didn't see that, so you don't have to press the rewind button on that, so punch, pull back, deflection. That's what that was. Okay, then from there, it turned into a technique at that point. And then a pin. So the two hand, which you saw were in the traditional uniform, 1-2, 1-2. Okay, here's the other hand. 1-2. Notice how he retracts. Technique that we did, I won't do the full technique of it, but basically it was 1-2, and then it came into this clothesline technique. Okay, which a lot of people might recognize or might be able to recognize that from the 6'4" wannabe Dago that really isn't Italian. He's actually Jewish, if you guys really don't know. And the ponytail's been cut off. Now he has his goatee. He's like really fat, makes really shitty movies. Goes straight to DVD. And his last name really isn't even his last name. That's Hollywoodized. So, again, Frank. 1-2. Here's the clothesline technique. Okay? That can go into other things. 1-2, move in. Where you can lock up. Now you have a wrist lock. Put that into another wrist lock. Into all kinds of things at that point. Okay, you can actually throw from this. Okay? Single hand punch. Strike. So, the two hand punch again. 1-2, deflection. Right? 1-2, deflection. So, did you see, maybe it was shot too fast, did you see the 1 and then the 2? Did you guys see that? There's no editing in this. This is all raw footage, again. One deflection, 2 hands. So, I can't wait to hear the rest of the comments you're gonna get from this video. Like, subscribe, check us out on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. There's gonna be a lot more of these videos coming your way. Not so much to bash Aikido because it's not about that, but I'm gonna be stirring up the pot a little bit and I'm gonna be shitting in your cornflakes. So get ready, YouTube, because here it comes.